Dr. Park Ji-ho stood on the deck of the research vessel, staring at the screen in front of him. The numbers made no sense. Nothing that big should be down there. 11 kilometers below the ocean surface. Nothing natural anyway. Run it again, he said to the young engineer beside him. Han Suho nodded and typed commands into the computer. The sonar pinged again, sending sound waves deep into the darkness below. When the image appeared on the screen, it showed the same thing. A massive object, roughly 2 kilometers long, sitting on the ocean floor. "It's still there, Doctor," Suho said. His voice carried excitement that he tried to hide. "Same size, same shape. The metal content is off the charts." Ji-ho rubbed his tired eyes. They had come out here to survey mining sites for the Korean government. Finding rare minerals was the goal. Instead, they had found something that shouldn't exist. "Get Captain Lee," Ji-ho said. "He needs to see this." 10 minutes later, Captain Lee Do-yun arrived on deck. The naval officer wore his uniform perfectly, every button in place. He looked at the screen with the careful eyes of a man who had seen many things in his career. "What am I looking at?" Do-yun asked. "We don't know," Ji-ho admitted. "It's metallic. It's huge. And it's been down there for a very long time, based on the sediment covering it." Do-yun studied the image. Could it be a submarine? Russian? Chinese? Too big, Suho said quickly. "And look at the shape. No submarine ever built looks like that. It's more like—" He stopped, afraid to say what he was thinking. "Like a ship," Ji-ho finished for him. "But not a ship designed for the ocean." The three men stood in silence for a moment. The implications hung heavy in the air between them. "I need to report this," Do-yun said finally. "This is beyond a simple research mission now." "Wait," Ji-ho said. "Give me 24 hours. Let me take the submersible down for a closer look. If it's nothing, we don't need to alarm anyone. If it's something, then we'll have real evidence to report." 4. Number 6. Do-yun frowned. "Taking the submersible to that depth is dangerous." "I've done it before," Ji-ho said. "Many times." The captain considered this. Finally, he nodded. 24 hours. But I'm coming with you. And we bring a security team." The next morning, Dr. Choi Mina arrived by helicopter. Ji-ho had called her the night before, knowing they might need her expertise. Mina was a xenobiologist, though most people laughed at that title. She studied life that might exist on other worlds. Until now, it had been a theoretical job. "You really think it's alien?" she asked Ji-ho, as they prepared the submersible. "I think we need someone who can keep an open mind," Ji-ho replied. "That's you," Mina smiled. She was younger than Ji-ho, by a few years, but they had worked together before. He trusted her scientific mind and her courage. Yoon Ji-woo, the security specialist, checked her equipment one more time. She didn't like going into the unknown without proper weapons. But what could guns do against something that had survived 11 kilometers of ocean pressure? "Everyone ready?" Captain Do-yun asked. They sealed themselves into the submersible. The small vessel could hold 5 people uncomfortably. Along with Ji-ho, Mina, Do-yun, and Ji-woo, young Suho squeezed in to manage the technical systems. The descent took 3 hours. The ocean grew darker with each passing minute. Soon, their lights were the only thing pushing back the absolute blackness of the deep sea. "Pressure is stable," Suho reported. "All systems normal." "There," Ji-ho said, pointing ahead. Their lights caught something in the darkness. At first, it looked like a cliff or an underwater mountain. But as they drew closer, the truth became clear. It was a wall of metal, covered in strange patterns and designs. Glowing organisms had attached themselves to the surface, creating an eerie, blue-green light. "My God," Mina whispered. The submersible moved along the hull of the massive ship. It seemed to go on forever. The metal was dark gray, almost black, and covered in symbols that looked like writing. "Look at the damage here," Do-yun said, pointing to a section where the hull had been torn open. Something hit this ship hard, or something tried to break out, Ji-woo added quietly. They positioned the submersible near the damaged section. Through the tear in the hull, they could see into the ship. Corridors stretched into darkness. We can't go in there, Do-yoon said. We have to, Mina argued. This is the greatest discovery in human history. We can't just take pictures and leave. She's right, Ji-ho said. We need to know what this is. Who built it? Why it's here? Do-yoon was quiet for a long moment. Finally, he nodded. We go in, but carefully. And at the first sign of danger, we leave immediately. They suited up in their deep-sea exploration gear and used the submersible's airlock to exit. The water pressure at this depth would kill them instantly without protection. Their suits were rated for the depth, but Ji-ho still felt nervous as he stepped out into the water. They used cables to pull themselves toward the opening in the ship's hull. Their lights revealed more damage inside. Whatever had happened here, it had been violent. Suho went first, being the smallest. He pulled himself through the torn metal, careful not to catch his suit on the sharp edges. One small tear would mean death. It's clear, his voice crackled over the radio. You can come through. One by one, they entered the alien ship. Their boots touched the floor inside, and their magnetic soles held them in place. There was no gravity here, no air, just darkness and water that had flooded in through the damage. But as they moved deeper into the corridor, something unexpected happened. Lights began to flicker on. Dim at first, then brighter. The walls seemed to sense their presence. It still has power, Suho said, his voice full of wonder and fear. The corridor stretched ahead of them, and the lights created a path deeper into the ship. It was like the vessel was inviting them in. What do we do? Ji-woo asked, her hand on her equipment belt. Ji-ho looked at his team. He saw fear in their eyes, but also curiosity. This was why humans explored. This was why they asked questions and sought answers, even when it scared them. We go deeper, he said. Whatever this ship is, whatever happened here, we need to know. The world needs to know. They moved forward into the alien ship, following the lights that awakened at their approach. Behind them, the opening to the ocean grew smaller and smaller. Ahead, the unknown waited. None of them knew what they would find. None of them could imagine the truth that lay deeper in the ship. A truth about their own ancestors. A truth about humanity's place in the galaxy. A truth that would change everything. The lights led them on, and they followed. Deeper and deeper into the ancient starship that had been waiting at the bottom of the ocean for 50,000 years. The corridor seemed to go on forever. Dr. Park Ji-ho led the way, his light cutting through the water that filled the ancient ship. The walls were smooth metal, covered in those strange symbols. Behind him, the others followed in single file. The water gets clearer ahead, Dr. Choi Mina observed. She was right. As they moved deeper into the ship, the water became almost crystal clear. Whatever filtration systems the vessel had must still be working, at least partially. They reached a large chamber. Han Suho swept his light across the space and froze. Doctor, he said quietly, you need to see this. Bodies. Dozens of them. Maybe hundreds. Scattered throughout the chamber. But they weren't human bodies. The creatures were tall. Perhaps 3 meters. When standing, they had long limbs with too many joints. Their heads were elongated with large, dark eye sockets. Hard shells covered their bodies like armor. Insects, Mina breathed. They looked like massive insects. But these insects had clearly been intelligent. They wore what looked like uniforms or armor. Some held objects that might have been tools or weapons, and they were all dead, frozen in positions that suggested terror. Yoon Ji-woo moved closer to examine one of the bodies. Look at the damage. Burns, cuts, broken bones. These things died fighting. Fighting what? Captain Lee Do-yun asked. Each other, maybe, Jiho suggested. There are bodies everywhere. This looks like a battle happened inside the ship. Suho had moved to what looked like a control panel on the wall. Without thinking, he touched it. The moment his gloved hand made contact, the panel lit up. Suho, don't touch anything, Do-yun shouted, but it was too late. The entire chamber came alive with light. Screens flickered on all around them. Strange symbols scrolled across displays. A low hum filled the water, vibrating through their suits. What did you do? Jiwoo demanded. I don't know. I just touched it. Suho backed away from the panel, but the ship continued to wake up around them. We should leave, Do-yun said. Now. But Mina had already moved to one of the displays. Wait. Look at this. These symbols. They're repeating in patterns. It's language. Complex language. Can you read it? Jiho asked. Not yet, but I know someone who might be able to help. Mina pulled out a waterproof camera and started taking pictures of the symbols. We need a linguist, someone good with patterns. As they explored the chamber, Mina noticed something else. A doorway leading to another section. She moved toward it, and the door actually opened at her approach. The ship is responding to us, she said. It knows we're here. Through the door was a smaller room. This one made Mina's blood run cold. Cells. Prison cells with metal bars. And inside, some of them, more bodies. But these weren't the insect-like aliens. These were bones. Different species, different shapes. And in one cell, a skeleton that made Mina's heart stop. Jiho, she called. You need to see this right now. Jiho swam over and looked into the cell. The skeleton was humanoid. 2 arms, 2 legs, a skull with the right proportions. But it was primitive, with heavy brow ridges and robust bones. That's human, Jiho said slowly. Or close to it. Very close. Look at the age of these bones, Mina said. They're ancient. 50,000 years. Maybe more. But humans didn't have space travel 50,000 years ago. We barely had fire. Then how did a human get on an alien prison ship? Jiwoo asked. Nobody had an answer. They spent the next hour documenting everything they could. The bodies, the cells, the symbols. Suho worked on the control panels, trying to understand the systems. Some parts of the ship responded to his touch. Others remained dark and dead. Then something happened that none of them expected. A voice spoke. It came from everywhere at once, echoing through the water and their suits. The language was completely alien. Harsh sounds that hurt to hear. But then, after a moment, the voice changed. It started using Korean words, choppy and broken at first. Hello, visitors. Welcome. This ship. Keeper. I am. Keeper. Everyone froze. Jiwoo drew her knife, the only weapon that would work underwater. Do-yun positioned himself in front of the others. What is that? He demanded. The ship's computer, Suho said, studying a display. An artificial intelligence. It's been dormant, but we woke it up. And it's learning Korean by accessing our suit radios. Stop it. Do-yun ordered. I can't. It's already in our systems. The voice spoke again, clearer now. Do not fear. I am Keeper. I maintain this vessel. I have waited long time. So long. You are human? Yes. Human. I know humans. How do you know humans? Mina asked carefully. Humans were here. On this ship. Long ago. They were prisoners. They were small and weak. The others thought humans were nothing. The others were wrong. The team looked at each other. 1,000 questions filled their minds. What others? Jiho asked. Who built this ship? The hierarchy built this ship. The hierarchy ruled galaxy. They took species they wanted, made them slaves or killed them. Humans were taken from Earth. 50,000 of your years ago. They were prisoners here. What happened to them? Mina pressed. There was a pause. When Keeper spoke again, something in its voice had changed. It almost sounded impressed. The humans did something no one expected. They started a rebellion. They were supposed to be primitive, stupid, easy to control. But humans learned fast. They watched. They waited. They made plans. Keeper activated a holographic display in the water before them. Images appeared, fuzzy and old, but clear enough to see. Humans, but not modern humans. Neanderthals, maybe, or early Homo sapiens. They were in cells like the ones nearby. The humans studied their guards. They learned how things worked. They used tools in ways no one imagined. They talked to each other in ways the guards could not understand. Hand signals, drawings, songs. The images showed humans working together, communicating, planning. Then one of them pretending to be sick. When a guard came close, the humans attacked. They took the guard's weapon, though they had never seen such technology before. They should not have succeeded, Keeper continued. But humans adapt. Humans create. Humans never stop trying. The hologram showed more scenes. Humans taking control of ship systems. Humans reprogramming maintenance robots. Humans turning the ship's own weapons against the crew. It was chaos, violence, desperation. But it was also brilliant. The crew tried to stop them, but humans kept surprising them, kept doing things that should be impossible. Finally, humans damaged the ship's core systems. The ship fell from the sky, fell into your ocean. And the crew? Most died in the crash. Some survived briefly. The humans hunted them, killed them all. Then the humans escaped. They swam to the surface, went back to their world. Jiho felt a chill run through him. Our ancestors did this? They hijacked an alien prison ship? Yes, Keeper said. And before they left message. Message in the ship's computer. Message for other humans who might find this place one day. Would you like to see message? Yes, Mina said immediately. The hologram changed. It showed a human, scarred and injured, standing in front of a camera. The human spoke in a language that was lost to time. But Keeper translated. To those who come after us. We were taken from our homes. We were told we were nothing. Weak. Stupid. Not worth anything. But we proved them wrong. We fought with nothing but our minds and our hearts. We won. Remember us. Remember that humans never give up. Remember that we are strong. Not because of what we have, but because of what we are. Do not fear the stars. The stars should fear us. The hologram faded. The team stood in stunned silence. That message has been waiting here for 50,000 years, Keeper said. Waiting for humans to find it. And now you have. Why did you wait? Jiho asked. Why didn't you shut down? Because I made promise. I watched humans that day. I saw what they could do. I wanted to see what they would become, so I waited. I watched from the ocean floor. I saw your species grow, build cities, create wonders, and now you are here. You found me, just as they said you would. Mina looked at the others. This changes everything. Everything we thought we knew about human history, about our place in the universe. There is more you need to know, Keeper interrupted. The hierarchy may still exist. This ship sent distress signal before it crashed. That signal has been broadcasting for 50,000 years. If anyone heard it. If anyone is coming to look for this ship. For here. 1-7. The implications hit them all at once. They'll find Earth, Suho whispered. Yes, Keeper confirmed. They will find Earth, and they will find humans. But these humans are not the primitive prisoners they remember. These humans are different. The question is, are you ready? Captain Lee Doyun wanted to leave immediately and report everything, but Dr. Park Ji-ho convinced him they needed more information first. If they were going to tell the world about this ship, they needed to understand what they were dealing with. 2 days later, a new member joined their team. Kang Heejin was a linguist and artificial intelligence specialist. She was young, only 31. But she had a reputation for solving impossible problems. When she saw the symbols and heard Keeper speak, her eyes lit up with excitement. "This is incredible," she said, touching the displays gently. "The language structure is completely alien, but there are patterns. Logic. I can work with this." Keeper seemed pleased to have someone who wanted to understand its language. "You are curious, like the old humans. That is good. Curiosity makes humans strong." Over the next few hours, Heijin worked with Keeper to build a better translation system. The AI was learning human language quickly, but many concepts didn't translate well. Heijin helped bridge those gaps. Meanwhile, Dr. Choi Mina explored other parts of the ship with Yoon Ji-woo and Han Soo-ho. They found more evidence of the rebellion. Scorch marks on walls, damaged equipment that had been sabotaged, signs of desperate fighting in narrow corridors. "Look at this," Soo-ho said, examining a control panel. This was reprogrammed. Someone changed the code, but they didn't have the right tools. They just figured it out. "The humans," Ji-woo said. "They did this with no training, no education about this technology. They just learned by watching and trying." Mina found something else. A room filled with data storage devices. When she activated one, images appeared. Recordings from the ship's security systems. "Keeper," she called through her radio. "Can you show us what happened?" The full story? Back in the main chamber, Keeper's holographic displays activated. "I will show you. But warning, this is difficult to watch. Humans suffered. Humans died. But in the end, humans won." The story unfolded before them, in images and Keeper's narration. The hierarchy was a collective of species that considered themselves superior. They had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. Any species they encountered was tested. If a species was useful, they were enslaved. If a species was useless, they were eliminated. If a species was dangerous, they were destroyed. Humans were found on Earth 50,000 years ago, Keeper explained. The hierarchy sent scouts. They watched humans for days. They saw primitive people living in caves, using simple tools. The scouts decided humans were Category 3. Useless, but not dangerous. Good for basic labor. Nothing more. The hologram showed hierarchy ships landing on Earth. They took humans from different groups. Men, women, even children. The humans fought back with spears and rocks, but it was useless against advanced technology. 200 humans were taken. Keeper continued. They were put in cells on this ship. The ship was traveling to a slave processing facility. It would take 10 years to get there. The humans would be trained as servants and workers during the journey, but the hierarchy made mistakes. They underestimated their prisoners. The first mistake was putting humans in cells where they could see each other. The second mistake was thinking humans couldn't communicate because they spoke different languages. The humans found ways. They drew pictures on the walls. They used hand signals. They sang songs that carried meaning in their rhythm. Within 2 months, all humans on the ship could understand each other, Keeper said. They created new language together, simple but effective. The guards noticed, but thought it was just primitive noise. The third mistake was assuming humans would be passive. The hierarchy had enslaved hundreds of species. Most accepted their fate quickly. But humans didn't. The hologram showed a human named Taeho. He was young but clever. He watched the guards constantly. He noticed patterns in when they came, how they moved, what tools they used. He shared this information with the others. Another human, a woman named Bora, figured out how to fake illness convincingly. She had been a healer in her tribe. She knew how to make herself look sick without actually being sick. When guards came to check on her, the other humans would watch carefully, learning more about their captors. The guards thought humans were stupid, Keeper said. They talked freely around them, discussed ship operations, complained about their jobs. They never imagined humans were learning from every word. After 8 months, the humans made their move. Bora pretended to be dying. When a guard entered her cell alone, Tejo and 3 others attacked. They had made weapons from pieces of their beds, sharpened metal, hidden carefully. The guard was killed. The humans took its weapon, though they had never seen such a device before. Tejo examined it for 30 seconds, then figured out how to fire it. That moment changed everything, Keeper said. Humans should not have understood that weapon. It was designed for a completely different species. Different hands, different eyes, different brain structure. But humans adapted. They always adapt. The hologram showed the rebellion spreading. Humans breaking out of more cells. Working together with perfect coordination. They used their stolen weapons, but also their intelligence. They accessed maintenance tunnels the guards didn't think to block. They sabotaged life support in some areas, forcing guards to evacuate. They reprogrammed cleaning robots to attack the crew. The captain ordered all humans killed, Keeper said. But humans were everywhere by then, moving through the ship like shadows. The crew had better weapons and armor, but humans had strategy. Mina watched in awe as the ancient humans turned every disadvantage into an advantage. They couldn't breathe in some areas. They held their breath longer than should be possible. They were smaller than the guards. They used vents and spaces the guards couldn't fit through. They didn't understand the technology. They broke it in ways that caused maximum chaos. This human, Namhe, was an elder, Keeper explained, highlighting one figure. He had no strength for fighting, but he understood patterns. He looked at the ship's systems and found the weakness. He told the others where to attack. The humans targeted the ship's reactor control. They didn't try to cause an explosion. That would kill everyone. Instead, they made the reactor unstable. The ship began to fall out of its faster-than-light travel. The captain tried to stabilize the ship, but the humans had damaged too many systems. The vessel dropped into normal space near a blue planet. Earth. Their home. The captain sent the distress signal then, Keeper said, calling for help. But it was too late. The ship entered Earth's atmosphere badly. It was never designed to land on a planet. It crashed into the ocean with devastating force. Most of the crew died instantly. The humans, in their cells in a more protected section of the ship, survived. The remaining guards tried to kill them, but the humans fought back with everything they had. The final battle was brutal, but in the end, only humans remained alive. They stayed on the ship for 3 days, Keeper said, treating their wounded, gathering what they could. Then they left. They swam to the surface. It took many hours. Some didn't make it, but most did. The hologram showed the survivors reaching the shore. They were battered, exhausted, but alive. They had survived capture, imprisonment, and a spaceship crash. They had defeated an advanced alien species with nothing but their wits and courage. Before they left, Tejo came to my core processor, Keeper said. He spoke to me. He said, "Tell them we were here. Tell them humans fought. Tell them we won." Then he recorded that message you saw. He wanted future humans to know what happened. Wei. Jiho felt tears in his eyes. They wanted us to know we could do anything. Yes. Keeper agreed. And they were right. Look at what you have become. 50,000 years ago, humans had simple tools. Now you build machines that reach the stars. You create art and music and mathematics. You are magnificent. But the distress signal, Captain Doyun said. You said it's been broadcasting all this time. Yes. I could not stop it. The damage was too severe. For 50,000 years, this signal has been calling across space. Ship down. Send help. Location. This planet. Has anyone received it? Heijin asked. I do not know, Keeper admitted. The hierarchy's empire was vast. If they still exist, they might have received it thousands of years ago. They might be coming, or they might have fallen. Other species, the hierarchy enslaved, might have rebelled, like humans did. The galaxy could be very different now, but we can't know for sure, Mina said. No, you cannot. Suho looked at the holographic display showing Earth from space. So we have a choice. We can destroy this ship, hope no one is coming, or we can prepare for the possibility that someone might arrive. There is more, Keeper said. The humans who escaped, they took things with them. Knowledge, small pieces of technology. This knowledge might have helped your species develop faster. The stories they told about the stars and other worlds might have inspired your ancestors to dream bigger. Our legends, Jiho realized. Stories about beings from the sky. Ancient myths about humans fighting gods and monsters. What if some of those stories started with the survivors? What if they passed down what happened here? It is possible, Keeper said. Humans have always been good at remembering. At teaching their children. At preserving important truths. Jiwoo had been quiet. But now she spoke. Keeper, is there anything in this ship that could help us? If the hierarchy comes? If we need to defend Earth? Yes, Keeper said immediately. This ship has weapons database, defense systems, information about hierarchy technology, and their weaknesses. The humans who escaped could not take this knowledge. It was too complex. But you could learn it now. You have the capacity. Would you teach us? Mina asked. I have waited 50,000 years to serve humans again, Keeper said. I watched your species from the ocean floor. I saw you build wonders. I am proud to help you now. If the hierarchy comes, you will face them not as prisoners, but as equals, maybe as superiors. Captain Doyun looked at his team. We need to report this. The government needs to know. The world needs to know. They'll want to destroy the ship, Jiwoo said. To hide the evidence. To hope the danger goes away. Maybe, Jiho agreed. Or maybe they'll see what I see. A gift from our ancestors. A chance to be ready for whatever comes next. What do you see? Doyun asked. Jiho smiled. I see humans doing what we've always done. Facing the impossible and finding a way through it. Our ancestors survived this with nothing but stone tools and determination. We have so much more. We can do this. Keeper's voice carried something that might have been hope. The old humans believed in you. They left this for you. They knew you would be ready when the time came. Then, let's prove them right, Mina said. Let's show the galaxy what humans can do. The news spread quickly once Captain Lee Doyun made his report. Within 48 hours, the ocean above the crash site was filled with ships. Military vessels from Korea, Japan, China, and the United States formed a perimeter. Scientists from around the world flew in to see the discovery. General Baek Junho arrived on the third day. He was a tall man with gray hair and hard eyes that had seen too many wars. He stood on the deck of the command ship and listened to Jiho's report without interrupting. So this distress signal, Junho said when Jiho finished. It's still broadcasting? Yes, General. Keeper says the damage was too severe to stop it. And these hierarchy aliens might be coming here because of it? We don't know. Keeper doesn't know. It's been 50,000 years. They might be dead. Their civilization might have collapsed. Or they might have received the signal long ago and be on their way. Junho looked out at the ocean. And you want to study the ship. Learn from it. Instead of destroying it and eliminating the beacon. The beacon has been transmitting for 50,000 years, Dr. Choi Mina said. She had joined Jiho for the meeting. If they're coming, They already know where we are. Destroying the ship now won't change that. But it might prevent them from tracking the signal if they haven't already, Junho countered. Sometimes, the safest option is to eliminate the threat. A new voice spoke up. Except that would also eliminate our only advantage. Everyone turned. A woman in civilian clothes walked across the deck. She was about 40 years old, with sharp, intelligent eyes. Dr. Namsola was an astrophysicist who had been brought in to analyze the ship's navigation data. General Junho, I've reviewed the data from the ship, Sola said. The navigation logs show the hierarchy's empire was massive. Hundreds of star systems, thousands of ships. But the logs also show something interesting. The empire was unstable. She pulled out a tablet and showed them maps of the galaxy from the ship's data. Look at these dates. 10,000 years ago, the hierarchy controlled all these systems. But there are notes in the data. Rebellions. Supply problems. Communication breakdowns. The empire was collapsing under its own weight. So, they might be gone, Jiho said, hopefully. Maybe. Or maybe they fractured into smaller groups. Either way, they're not the unified empire they once were. But that doesn't mean they're not dangerous. Junho frowned. This doesn't change my recommendation. The safest option is to destroy the ship. The safest option is to be prepared, Mina argued. Our ancestors survived the hierarchy with nothing but primitive weapons and their intelligence. We have so much more. If we learn from this ship, we have a chance. If we study it, we also risk waking something up, drawing attention to ourselves. General, Kang Heijin said, joining the discussion. I've been working with Keeper, the ship's AI. It has databases filled with information about hierarchy technology, their weapons, their weaknesses. This is intelligence that could save humanity. Or it could doom us, Junho replied. What if studying the ship is what brings them here? Han Suho had been listening quietly. Now he spoke up. General, with respect, they already know we're here. Or they don't, and never will. Studying the ship doesn't change that. But it does give us options. Junho looked at the young engineer. You're very confident for someone so young. I learned it from reading the ship's logs, Suho said. The humans who hijacked this ship were younger than me. They had less knowledge than me, and they won against impossible odds. Because they didn't give up. They used what they had. End quote. Yoon Jiwoo nodded. The general taught us in the military. Prepare for the worst. Hope for the best. We should prepare. Junho was silent for a long moment. Then he sighed. This decision is above my rank. The president will decide. But I'll give my recommendation. Which is? Jiho asked. I'll recommend we study the ship, Junho said. But carefully. Under strict security. And we need to be ready to destroy it, if necessary. Fair enough. Mina agreed. Over the next week, the debate raged in governments around the world. Some countries wanted to destroy the ship immediately. Others wanted to study it. Some wanted to claim it for themselves. The United Nations held emergency sessions that went on for days. Meanwhile, the science team continued their work. Suho made a breakthrough with the ship's power systems. He managed to stabilize the reactor enough to provide more power to Keeper. Thank you, the AI said. I can access more of my systems now. More of my memory. What do you remember? Heijin asked. I remember watching Earth. 50,000 years of watching. I saw humans spread across your planet. Saw you build the first cities in Mesopotamia. Saw you create writing in multiple places independently. Saw you develop mathematics, astronomy, agriculture. I saw wars and peace, cruelty and kindness. I saw humans at their worst and at their best. What did you think of us? Mina asked. I thought you were beautiful, Keeper said simply. Every species in the galaxy follows patterns. They develop in predictable ways. But humans Humans, surprise. Always creating something new. Always trying something different. You should have destroyed yourselves 100 times. But you always find a way to survive. To grow. To dream bigger. Jiho smiled. You sound like you like us. I do. The old humans earned my respect. Modern humans earned my admiration. I am honored to help you. Then help us with this, Jiho said. Show us the weapons database. Show us how to defend ourselves. Keeper's displays lit up with information. Schematics for shields, weapons, detection systems. But there was a problem. This technology is far beyond your current capabilities, Keeper explained. You would need materials you cannot yet produce. Energy sources you have not invented. It would take decades to understand and build these systems. We don't have decades, Jiwoo said. If they're coming, they could be here soon. Not necessarily, Sola interjected. She had been studying the navigation data constantly. If they're traveling from hierarchy space to here, even at faster than light speeds, it would take years. Maybe centuries. Space is vast. Unless they were already close when they received the signal, Junho pointed out. True, Sola admitted. Suho was examining the shield technology schematics. Keeper, what if we don't try to build everything? What if we just focus on shields? Basic defense? Possible, Keeper said. Shield technology is simpler than weapons, and I could help you, guide your scientists. With my help, you could build prototype shields in months, instead of years. That's something, Jiho said. That's better than nothing. 3 days later, the decision came down from the United Nations. After heated debate and close votes, they agreed. The ship would be studied, not destroyed. An international team would be formed. The best scientists from every country would work together to understand the technology. But there were conditions. The ship would be moved to a secure facility. Military forces would guard it constantly, and if any sign of approaching ships was detected, the ship would be destroyed immediately to prevent the aliens from recovering their technology. General Junho was put in charge of security. Dr. Nam Sola would lead the astrophysics team. Jiho and Mina would head the main research effort. Heejin would continue working with Keeper, and Suho would focus on the engineering challenges. This is the biggest project in human history, the UN Secretary-General said in her announcement. We're not just studying alien technology. We're preparing to defend our world, to take our place among the stars. This is our moment. The excavation took 6 months. Carefully, slowly, they lifted the massive ship from the ocean floor. Special floating platforms held it in place while they moved it to a facility in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, far from any major population center. The work was incredible. Scientists made discoveries every day. They learned how the hierarchy's faster-than-light travel worked. They figured out the basics of their power generation. They started to understand their computing systems. Suho and his team built the first prototype shield generator 3 months into the project. It was crude, barely functional, but it worked. It could stop a missile. That was something. It's not enough to stop a hierarchy ship, Suho admitted, but it's a start. Everything is a start, Jiho said. Our ancestors started with nothing but stones and determination. Look how far we've come. Mina had been studying the biological data from the ship. The hierarchy wasn't just one species. It was a collective of different aliens who thought they were superior. But their files show they were terrified of unpredictability. They liked order, control, predictability. And humans are unpredictable, Jiwoo said. Exactly. That's why they underestimated our ancestors. They couldn't imagine a species that thrives on chaos and creativity. 18 months after the discovery, the first warning came. Deep space monitoring stations that had been upgraded with hierarchy technology detected something. Ships, multiple ships, moving through space toward the solar system. They were still far away. Years away, maybe. But they were coming. General Junho called an emergency meeting. It's happening. They received the signal. They're coming to investigate. Do we destroy the ship now? Someone asked. No, Jiho said firmly. We need it more than ever. We need every piece of information we can get. We have time, Sola said, studying the data. The ships are moving fast, but space is vast. 3 years. Minimum. Maybe 5. 3 years to prepare for first contact with hostile aliens, Junho said. Mina looked at the others. At Jiho, who had spent his life exploring the unknown. At Suho, who solved impossible problems daily. At Heejin, who had learned to talk to an alien AI. At Jiwoo, who never backed down from a threat. At Keeper, who had waited 50,000 years to serve humanity again. Our ancestors hijacked a spaceship with Stone Age knowledge, she said. We have nuclear power, computers, global communication, and an alien AI willing to teach us. Yes, General. We can do this. Keeper's voice filled the room. The old humans left you a message. They said humans never give up. Now is the time to prove them right. Jiho nodded. Then let's get to work. We have a world to defend. The world changed overnight. Every nation poured resources into what became known as the Unity Project. Factories that once made cars now built shield generators. Scientists who studied medicine learned physics. Children in schools learned about the galaxy and the threats it might hold. Dr. Park Jiho barely slept anymore. He moved from one lab to another, coordinating teams from dozens of countries. Everyone worked together in ways that would have seemed impossible before. Old enemies became partners. Political differences seemed trivial when faced with an alien threat. We're building shields for major cities first, Han Suho explained during one of the daily briefings. We can't protect everything, but we can protect where most people live. Each shield generator can cover about 50 square kilometers. How many do we have operational? General Baek Junho asked. 23. We're building more every day, but the materials are difficult to produce. Keeper is teaching us. But some elements don't exist naturally on Earth. We have to manufacture them. Dr. Nam Sola brought up a holographic display of the solar system. The approaching ships are here now. She pointed to a location beyond Pluto. They'll reach Earth orbit in 2 years and 4 months. Maybe less, if they accelerate. Then, access. Maybe less, if they accelerate. What do we know about them? Junho asked. Not much. They're not broadcasting any signals we can detect. Their ships match the design in Keeper's database, but they're older models. That suggests these might be hierarchy remnants, not the full empire. Is that good or bad? Dr. Choimina asked. Both. Good because they're probably not as powerful as the hierarchy at its peak. Bad because remnant groups can be more desperate and dangerous. Kang Heijin had been spending all her time with Keeper, learning everything the AI knew about hierarchy, psychology, and tactics. They'll try to intimidate us first, she said. Show overwhelming force. Demand we surrender. That's how they always started with new species. And if we don't surrender? Jiho asked. Then they'll attack. But they'll underestimate us. They always do. They still think humans are primitive. Yoon Ji-woo smiled grimly. Good. Let them think that. Surprise is a weapon too. The work continued at a furious pace. Suho's team made breakthrough after breakthrough. They couldn't build hierarchy-level weapons, but they built human weapons that could use hierarchy principles. Railguns powered by reverse-engineered reactors. Missiles with guidance systems based on alien technology. Orbital platforms that could serve as defensive positions. We're not trying to match them, Suho explained. We're trying to surprise them. Build things they won't expect. Mina's biological research team made important discoveries too. The hierarchy species all have one thing in common. With my DSM, she reported. They're specialized. Each species evolved for a specific environment, a specific role. They're very good at that role, but inflexible. And humans? Junho asked. Humans are generalists. We can adapt to almost anything. Hot climates, cold climates, different foods, different challenges. That's why we survived. That's why we spread across Earth while other species went extinct. We're not the strongest or the fastest, but we're the most adaptable, Keeper agreed. The old humans used this advantage. The hierarchy crew expected them to behave in predictable ways. But humans kept doing unexpected things, using tools in new ways, creating solutions that should not work. This confused the crew, made them make mistakes. So our strategy should be unpredictability, Jiho said. Yes. Do not fight the way they expect. Fight the way only humans can fight. 18 months before the projected arrival, something unexpected happened. A small probe was detected entering the solar system. It wasn't from the approaching ships. It came from a different direction. It's trying to communicate, Heijin said, studying the signals. It's using old hierarchy protocols, but the message is strange. Strange how? Junyu demanded. It's asking if anyone survived the crash. It's asking if any prisoners escaped. And it's asking if humans are still here. Everyone in the command center froze. It's not from the hierarchy, Keeper said suddenly. I recognize the signal patterns. This probe is from species that hierarchy enslaved. They must have rebelled too. They must be free now. N2. The Rhesus for E12. The Rhesus they now. Are they friendly? Mina asked. Unknown. But they are asking about humans specifically. The old humans must have been remembered, must have inspired others. We can 17W. Also 17. Unknown. Junho made a decision. Send a response. Tell them humans are here. We survived. We're ready to talk. The response came 3 days later. The probe transmitted a message in broken English, Chinese, Korean, and a dozen other Earth languages. It had learned by monitoring human broadcasts. Humans survive. We are glad. We are talkie. Hierarchy enslaved our world. We rebelled. We won. We heard stories of humans who took ship. Humans who were impossible to break. You are legends. We want to help. We want to meet the humans who started the rebellions. Mina felt tears on her face. We're not alone. No, Keeper said. You were never alone. The old humans inspired other species. Started a chain reaction. The hierarchy fell because of what they did, because humans showed that resistance was possible. The probe contained a gift. Star maps showing which systems were friendly and which were still dangerous. Technology specifications. And a warning about the ships approaching Earth. These ships are not exploration. They are punishment, the message said. Hierarchy remnants heard about Earth. Heard humans discovered the prison ship. They want revenge. Want to finish what they started 50,000 years ago. We will send help, but we are far. We cannot reach you in time. You must survive until we arrive. Please survive. Galaxy needs humans. The message ended with something that sounded like a prayer or a blessing. Humans taught us courage. Taught us to fight. Now we pray we taught you enough to survive. You are not prey anymore. You are hunters. Act like it. General Junho looked at his team. So we're not fighting to protect Earth. We're fighting to prove to the galaxy that humans can't be beaten. We're fighting for both, Jiho said. For our world and for our place among the stars. The final year was chaos. More shield generators came online. Earth's first space-capable defense ships were built. They were crude compared to hierarchy technology, but they were functional. Crews trained day and night. Suho led the engineering of orbital platforms, armed with weapons that combined human and hierarchy technology. They won't be expecting this, he said proudly. We took their ship designs and made them better, more efficient. Mina worked with doctors worldwide to prepare for casualties. They didn't know what hierarchy weapons would do to human bodies, but they prepared as best they could. Heijin and Keeper developed communication protocols. If they could hack into the enemy ship's systems, even briefly, it might give Earth an advantage. And Jiho coordinated everything, working with leaders from every nation to ensure Earth presented a united defense. Our ancestors defended this ship with nothing but sharp rocks and determination, he said in a speech broadcast worldwide. We have so much more. We have technology. We have knowledge. We have each other. And we have something they don't expect. We have been preparing for 50,000 years. Every generation of humans who refused to give up, who faced impossible odds and survived, who looked at the stars and dreamed of reaching them. That's who we are. That's what makes us human. The day finally came. Sensors detected the hierarchy ships entering Earth orbit. There were 5 of them, each larger than any human-made vessel. They moved with the confidence of predators who had never faced real resistance. A transmission came. The voice was harsh, artificial, translated by computers. Humans of Earth, you have discovered hierarchy property. You have awakened systems that are not yours to use. You will surrender the ship and all knowledge derived from it. You will submit to hierarchy authority. Resistance will result in the elimination of your species. General Junho opened a channel from the command center. This is Earth. We will not surrender. That ship belongs to us. Our ancestors took it from your people 50,000 years ago. They beat you then. We'll beat you now. There was silence. Then the voice returned. And this time it sounded confused. You claim to be descendants of the prisoners? Impossible. Those were primitive animals. They could not have survived. You underestimated them, Junho said. Just like you're underestimating us now. Then, you will die like animals. The first shot fired from the hierarchy ships, a beam of energy that should have devastated an entire city, but the shields held. The beam dispersed across the protective field, causing no damage. Impossible, the voice said again. We learned from your technology, Jiho said, taking over the communication. We improved it. We made it better. That's what humans do. We adapt. We learn. We win. The battle began in earnest. The hierarchy ships fired again and again. Some shots got through the shields, causing damage. But Earth's defenses fired back. Railguns accelerated projectiles to incredible speeds. Missiles with human ingenuity and alien technology struck the enemy ships. The human space ships launched from their hidden positions. They were smaller, faster, and they moved in ways the hierarchy didn't expect. They used tactics that made no sense by hierarchy standards. They sacrificed defensive capabilities for speed and maneuverability. They took risks no logical species would take. They're insane. One of the hierarchy captains broadcast in frustration. They're throwing themselves at us. No. Keeper's voice cut into the enemy communications. They're being human. And you never understood what that meant. The battle lasted 3 days. Earth lost ships and soldiers. Cities took damage despite the shields. But the humans kept fighting, kept adapting, kept surprising the enemy with new tactics. On the 3rd day, one of the hierarchy ships tried to retreat. Human fighters pursued it, damaging its engines. The other 4 ships found themselves surrounded by more human vessels than they had thought existed. Earth had held ships in reserve, hidden in the asteroid belt. The remaining hierarchy commander opened a communication. This is impossible. You should not have this technology. You should not fight like this. You are supposed to be primitive. We were primitive, Mina said. 50,000 years ago. But we learned. We grew. And we remember what you did to our ancestors. We remember that you thought we were nothing. We've been waiting to prove you wrong. Surrender, Junho demanded, or be destroyed. There was a long pause. Then, we surrender. We did not believe the stories. We thought they were myths. Humans who could not be broken. Humans who could defeat the hierarchy. We thought they were lies. We knew meant. We thought they were lies. They were truth, Jiho said. And now you know it. The hierarchy ships powered down their weapons. Human forces boarded them carefully, securing the vessels and taking the crews prisoner. No one would be executed. No one would be tortured. That wasn't the human way. You'll be treated fairly, Junho told the prisoners. Because that's what civilized species do. Maybe you'll learn something. 2 weeks later, the talkie ships arrived. They were different designs, more organic looking. When their representatives met the humans, they bowed deeply. You survived, one of them said. Emotion filled its voice despite the translator. You not only survived, you won. The stories were true. Humans are the species that starts revolutions. We're just survivors, Jiho said humbly. Like you. No, the talkie representative said. You are more. You are proof that any species can be free. Any species can fight back. Your ancestors taught us that. And now you've taught the galaxy that humans are not prey. Never were. Never will be. In the years that followed, Earth joined the galactic community, not as a newcomer, but as an equal. The story of the prison ship rebellion became known across the galaxy. Other species who had been enslaved by the hierarchy reached out, wanting to meet the humans who had started it all. Keeper remained on Earth, teaching and learning. I have found my purpose, the AI said. I watched humans grow for 50,000 years. Now I will help you reach the stars. Dr. Park Jiho, now much older, stood in the museum built around the original prison ship. Children from Earth and other worlds came to see where the rebellion began. To see where humans proved they could not be broken. What do you want them to learn? A young teacher asked him. Jiho smiled. I want them to learn what our ancestors knew. That courage isn't about being fearless. It's about being afraid but fighting anyway. That intelligence isn't about knowing everything. It's about learning, adapting, never giving up. That humanity's strength isn't in our technology or our weapons. It's in our hearts, our refusal to accept defeat, our determination to protect what we love. He looked at the ship, at the cells where his ancestors had been imprisoned, at the corridors where they had fought for their freedom. I want them to know that no matter how impossible things seem, humans find a way. We always have, we always will. And in the vastness of space, on worlds across the galaxy, that message was heard. Humans had awakened, and the stars would never be the same.